So next try. Christoph, are you there? I will wait till Christoph is there. Then I will invite him first and then Priya. So thanks already everyone for joining. And sorry for the delay. So still waiting for Christoph. Priya, you are still there, right? But I saw that there was he's live. Shall we join his live? Because it says that Christoph is not able to join. I'm not quite sure what's wrong here. Sorry for everyone for the confusion. Just stay tuned. Okay. So I accepted the request of Christoph. Hi, Christoph.
Hello, we made it. Now Priya's missing, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Is she here?
Yes. Sure. Okay.
Let me try two things. I have earplugs and I have mic. Both doesn't work at the same time. Let me try one thing. My mic. Can you hear me? Test. Can you hear me?
It's happening.
Can you hear me? Oh no.
We made it. Amazing.
Okay. I hope
Hey
we
guys.
lost so many people along the way. So Priya, you will moderate?
Yes. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining tonight. We're gonna do a little Instagram live about pressure campaigning. We are gonna share our experience about pressure campaigning. Me doing pressure campaigning in the Netherlands, and you guys doing pressure campaigning in Germany in 2 different cities. We wanted to share our experience actually to give people a little bit more insight about what pressure campaigning is, and also to motivate you guys to join our groups or to create your own groups, because it's something that isn't happening a lot in Europe, but a lot in America. So we thought it's very important to talk about it and to give some inside information about it, because I think there are lots of misconceptions about it, and we just want to share the methods that we use and that have been working for us, but also share little maybe more difficult parts of the pressure campaigning and things to notice and to be aware of. And there's also a Q&A, so anybody who wants to ask questions about pressure campaigning, you can ask them. There's a question box next to the comment section, but you can also just type a comment and then we will answer it at the end of the live. So let's start with introducing ourselves. Maybe Toni, you want to start?
Yeah, hello, my name is Toni. I'm 42 years old and I live near Frankfurt, Rhine-Main area in Germany. And vegan for 9.5 years and active since June 2017, starting with outreach, as many of us, and then getting less and less interested in this kind of activism. And started in March 2018 with live streaming, first with via Facebook. And then I quit this a few weeks ago. And while I had it simultaneously 1.5 years now, Facebook and Instagram, and now quit Facebook and welcome YouTube. Yeah. And I participate in demonstrations, and I live stream them, and blockades and vigils and other kind of protests all about animal rights, animal liberation, veganism, and I wanted to get active in the following year in our area regarding foie gras clothing, that means silk, leather, wool, fur, and down, and animal circuses. Okay, thanks.
Nice. Thanks, Tony. Christoph?
Okay, let me try my mic. Can you hear me now? Can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my name is Christoph. I've been an activist for 6 years, and the first 3 years I was doing cubes, only cubes, like everybody. And then 3 years ago, I moved over to pressuring campaigns. And like Priya said, exactly, there are good role models in the US, but in Europe, I didn't find any. Not at all. I came across Cranky Vegan in the pandemic, and he always talked about pressure campaigns, and I thought, yeah, sounds pretty smart, but where do I find that? We didn't have it until I had to start it in my city, and now other cities are doing it across Europe. I became involved in the fur campaigns like 3 years ago, calved, and we had been protesting a lot, LVMH and Max Mara stores, until Max Mara went for free in summer. And during a time in the Max Mara campaign when we felt frustrated, the campaign didn't go anywhere. We had been protesting for 1 year and they still didn't go for free. Then I moved over to another topic, foie gras. Both are very similar, low-hanging fruits. Both have one real clear advantage for us. A large majority of non-vegans thinks it's cruel, barbaric, and unnecessary, fur and foie gras, but we still have it. So why do we still have it? My question is because we haven't done enough strategic campaigns against it, and that's what I've been trying to spread. And I've been trying to, or I did reach out to many activists in Asia, in Europe, in the not in the US, but many European countries and even Asia and Australia to get them on board the fur campaigns. Mostly successful. And a few more cities, like at least 10, 12 more cities are active now against fur. And I'm planning to do the same for other cities who don't have our fur targets to protest foie gras, for example. Yeah, that should be a little so good for now.
Nice. Then I will also introduce myself. My name is Priya. I'm from Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and I'm a vegan for 7 years and active for 4. Also started with cubes and eventually turned my life around and became I'm now becoming a plant-based chef to really dedicate my life to the animals. And I'm also spreading a lot of awareness on my own Instagram. So I share about what's happening to the animals in the industries by making videos, sharing, resharing posts. I go to vigils. And also last summer, I started doing pressure campaigning. And actually, this is a way of activism that really suits me very well because I think it's very nice to be able to make a difference without having to really have a conversation with people, but just by really doing an active thing to spread a message. And it has been proven very effective because we have managed to get Rotterdam foie gras free in 1.5 months with only 5 demonstrations. So yeah, it has been pretty amazing with like a very nice group of activists who are like very dedicated. So I'm happy to share some of the things that we did today that helps. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to hearing from you guys what you guys think that works and doesn't work. But maybe we can start off by maybe explain a little bit more about pressure campaigning. Maybe Christoph, maybe you wanna answer that. Like, how would you explain pressure campaigning?
So first, explaining pressure campaigning, then going to the question what actually is foie gras. Okay.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you wanna share what's foie gras, Tony?
Or I guess Christoph is more into the topic as now as you already had
Okay.
so many protests. So maybe both topics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me start with the foie gras. Foie gras is cruel and unnecessary, like any animal industry, as us vegans know, because we have changed perspective. But 98% of the non-vegan of the others have not changed perspective yet. they consume animal products, but still they are against foie gras. Foie gras is like a delicacy. It's banned in many states. Don't quote me how many. I think in 22 European states it's banned. The production, the force feeding of ducks is banned. Only in France, which is unfortunately their heritage, cultural heritage, and I think Spain, Belgium, and so on. But don't quote me on that. It's banned in most states, but import is allowed, and that's what restaurants do. They just import it and sell it as a delicacy. And the term foie gras sounds elegant, might sound delicious. People don't see what's behind it. Some people know what's behind it, force feeding. Some don't want to know. And those who do know and care don't order it. But this will still have a place in the restaurant until we finish it, until we start campaigns. And pressure campaigns is something that we definitely should have more, a lot more, because the way I see it, we have like 95% in activism is focused on individual change, talking to people on the street, trying to get them vegan, which is perfectly okay, which is also a way we need. We need any form of activism. But if 95% do one thing, we don't have a balance. We need to balance it out. That's why, like you said, we need to spread pressure campaigns far more. That's what I've been trying to do, and I will keep trying to do that. Pressure campaigns, you have a certain demand, which needs to be realistic, like Max Mara drop fur, which was a big ask. We had to wait 1.5 years and fight 1.5 years. Or one restaurant drop foie gras. And this is much easier. So you have one demand, and it brings you in a comfortable position. You tell them what's going on. You issue the demand, and they have to follow, whether they like it or not. Usually they won't. Usually they ignore you. I mean, anybody could come up and ask for anything. I would ignore them probably. But when they start to feel the heat, but we will get to that later. Yes, pressure campaigns work because we see results. When we talk to people on the streets, we might have a feeling that person understood it, he might care, he might become vegan, but nobody knows. And like 2 years later, we see the meat production going down a little bit, and the alternatives going up a little bit, might be due to outreach, we don't know. But in these campaigns, we see results. We come up with a reasonable demand, like one restaurant drop foie gras. We have to make it sure that we don't ask for any dairy, any meat, any fish, because this would spoil or endanger the success of this campaign, anti-foie gras campaign. And we should, let me think, how else do I explain pressure campaigns? Yeah, I've been to the Cranky Vegan workshop. I summed it up. If anybody wants to have it, I'm happy to share it. Yeah, it's applying different tactics, like protests, our most difficult weapon, of course, the most effective one, but also different tactics. You can involve outreach in front of the restaurant, like showing a TV, like 2 or 3 activists who don't like to go wild on a megaphone. They could just start doing outreach about how horrible foie gras is, only showing foie gras. You could start comment storms on social media, emails, writing letters. You could protest at secondary targets, not at the place, at the restaurant that you actually target, but at a distributor maybe, or at where decision makers live, which would be a home demo, by the way. I was in the US for 5 weeks this year, and I've done so many home demos, so many disruptions. It was exciting, pure therapy. So you could target different angles, not only your primary target, like the place that sells fur, or the restaurant offering foie gras, which would be like number one, of course, like at least 80%, I would say. But then I would suggest at some point involving secondary targets. This would be like for a fur store, this would be banks, insurance companies, investors, and like I said, home demos. So you apply pressure from different angles, all with the same demand, and then at some point, if you don't take unnecessary risks, you shouldn't go wild in the first 2 weeks and blow up all your energy and get arrested or whatever. This wouldn't be very smart. You might have to stay in the game for a longer period of time. If your campaign if your demand is higher, like LVMH go for free, that's our last final opponent. They are the trendsetters in fashion. We will have to keep busy with them for a while. But if you only target one restaurant and your demand is only drop this one dish, and we will leave you the hell alone, they will believe you, and they will do it. Did
Yes.
I explain pressure campaigns enough, or are there any
Yes.
questions?
Well, I maybe have an addition to it, like because I feel like when you're doing outreach, you're really trying to reach people making this decision internally. Like you try to make them change by themselves, and with pressure campaigning, you also try to change them, from the inside out. But I feel it's not always the case that people really understand why it's important to drop foie gras. I think it's also because they don't want hassle. They don't want people in front of their restaurants shouting and making a fuss and having their customers feeling uncomfortable. So it's kind of like helping them maybe eventually make the change inside, but I think it's mostly now externally, because we have the moral standard that we demand to drop foie gras. And maybe, some restaurants, they agree. They say, yeah, you're right, we cannot say anything about this and we will drop it. And, and some say, like, I'm not getting pressured into this. And eventually they will, because we will be in front of their restaurant. So the inconvenience is way too big for them. But I feel it's a little bit like more externally, the pressure campaigning.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You could say when we do outreach, we hope people will change, and in pressure campaigns, we just make them change. Because, like
Exactly.
you said, we know what's ethically right, and we live by it, and we just make this restaurant drop this one meal, and that's it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
yeah, Cranky Vegan. Last year or the year before, I went to a workshop of his, and he showed his film, The Animal People, and we had a discussion on pressure campaigns, on direct action, and everything. And yeah, he always says, you need to have a strategy, and like outreach is only a tactic, like a part of it. Like, yeah, and you said so many different things, like outreach, writing letters, secondary targets like banks, distributors. But the one thing, like home visits, I'm not quite sure what the legal side is here in Germany. I guess in the USA it's a different kind of thing, or maybe you know something about that, or how Priya, or how this is in the Netherlands. Is this something you tried there?
Well,
For Germany,
we didn't. Oh, sorry,
sorry.
Chris, if you go ahead.
Germany, we actually don't know. I haven't done them in Germany, just the US. US, you don't have to get any permit for any protest. You just go. When police comes, you have to drop the megaphones because you would need a sound permit depending on the community. But for Germany, we will find out one of these days. Still, I have reached out to many people nobody knows.
Okay.
Pressure campaigns happened in the UK before with home demos during the Camp Beagle protest and other things, but nobody could tell me anything. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, we have demonstration right. We don't have to announce this. We can just protest wherever we want, unless as long as it's on public space. So we can use sound. We can use, like, as long as we're not making sure that we endanger, like, the health or the something towards people, that it stays safe. We didn't do it, and we didn't need it yet, like here in the Netherlands, because I feel people are you can like, hitting them in their wallet is already too big for them, like, I feel. So I don't think up until now it has not been necessary to protest in front of people's houses.
Better.
um
That's the very last step. Some people don't like
yeah.
it. They see it critically, which I accept, because the family or little kids could feel threatened. I remember one time we protested Brasserie Marie in Cologne for foie gras in the winter time at like 8 or 8:30. It was dark, and then the lights went on. on the apartments above the restaurant, and little kids were staring outside. They were afraid, of course. I felt sorry about them. We were successful. They dropped it right after that. But the father came out. He said, "I appreciate what you're doing. You're amazing. But how the hell am I gonna calm my kids down? They are afraid now." Yeah, I accept that. We only do home demos at the very final escalation stage if we have to. But then, of course, that's nothing compared to what they do to animals. So we just do it and it works.
Yeah, and for sure there's like so many steps before this step. So exactly the escalation ladder. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that, like the method and like how which steps you took, maybe Christoph and Toni, and maybe which one we took here in the Netherlands, and we're still taking because we're still busy with the foie gras campaign.
Before we go to that, there's actually success. We need to celebrate successes, as Cranky Jay Conroy always said. There's so many things that drag us down, and the animal industries, the exploitation is so wide worldwide, for like clothing and entertainment and animal testing and yeah. And it can drag us down and be such it can be such a negative impact on our hearts, for us compassionate people, so that it's really needful to celebrate successes. Like yesterday, like one of the biggest clothing chains in Germany announced that they will drop leather and fur, I guess, not C&A, right, Christoph?
Not fur. I think they were fur-free a long time ago. Leather and down, maybe. Leather was very remarkable. I thought, in my opinion, the fight against leather is still most difficult because most non-vegans see it as natural. I wouldn't do leather, except for kangaroo leather. I targeted Adidas for kangaroo leather. That's also a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, but like you said, it's amazing. We have to be thankful for that.
Yeah, and coming back.
That's so true, Toni.
That's the reason why I recognize you, Priya, because I saw a post that was shared. I'm not quite sure, maybe by you, Christoph, or some other people. You managed with other activists to get Rotterdam foie gras free. So applaud.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
In Rotterdam, that's sold foie gras in the menu.
Yes. Although we have a little, because we after the we call Rotterdam foie gras free because all the restaurants that we have protested that we found foie gras on the menu removed it from the menu. But unfortunately, now we are doing like this research after, and we find out that they still sell it, but not on the menu. So we have to get back. Yeah, because the thing is, people that sell this, they don't have a moral standard like we do, so you can also not really expect them to not lie when they say they will remove it from their menu, or they remove it from their menu, but they don't, they will find other ways to keep this exploitation going, so we have been researching last week by doing phone calls, and then discovered that some of them still have it on their menu. So we are gonna, they don't have it on the menu, but they sell it to the people that ask for it. So we have all the recordings and we will go back. So Rotterdam is foie gras free on menus, yes, but yeah, exactly. But unfortunately not really. So sometimes I also feel like we need to celebrate, and also at the same time I feel that this is always hanging, it's always a possibility that it's not the case, because we're working here with people that don't, they exploit animals. So why would they be truthful people? They're not honest anyway, so why would they be honest by saying that they remove it from the menu? And I heard so many like stupid excuses from restaurant owners, from like, oh, but I didn't know, and like the wholesaler is like selling it to us, like being the victim the whole time, and like, oh, about like other industries, and you should be worried about that, and stuff like this. So yeah, Yeah.
There's,
Let's celebrate.
there's one thing that might be interesting right here. Most of the US cities demand a policy, like a fur-free policy for Max Mara and a foie gras-free policy, like Austin Animal Advocates, for example. They have almost made a complete city of Austin foie gras-free, including the big high hospitality, the Uchi one. They always request a policy. I don't,
Yeah.
because a lawyer recommended but every city should do research and decide for themselves. I decided not to ask for a policy because I might get sued because it's legal to sell foie gras, and if I pressure them, this could be regarded as too much pressure. As I don't know the word, Erpressung in English. I might get sued if I pressure them into dropping something which is actually legal. But they know we will keep protesting as long as they sell it. And we have removed it from 9 restaurants so far. We still have 2 more in Düsseldorf and 1 more in Cologne so far, until some decide to put it back on the menu since we don't have a policy, or some others decide to put it on the menu for the first time. We should do research soon again.
Yeah.
Right now, my focus has shifted to fur again.
Yeah.
Low Piana is the new target that I'm protesting, but we will come back. So a policy makes you have a little more assurance, or you make it very clear. Once we see it, we will come right back.
Yeah, and that's what we say. And we also asked them to send us an email, because one of the last restaurants, the chef came outside and he told us that he would drop it and that he wasn't aware of where it came from and blah blah. So we asked him, like, send us an email with your statement that you're gonna drop it, and he did. But he's still selling it. But like, yeah.
Give me his
So that's the
address, we will
thing,
go
you
there.
know.
Give me his address,
Yeah.
we will go there.
We will definitely. Oh, I'm looking so forward to this. Yeah.
And after
Yeah.
message from the restaurant that they announced to drop foie gras off the menu, do you like go into an agreement with them to have the statement forwarded to the press, so to make it official and things like that?
That's a good one. We haven't, like, there was one time there was some where there was a journalist from a newspaper, but I'm not sure if he wrote about it. I haven't seen anything about it, and I'm not sure if they will, if they're interested in writing on it. But it's definitely a good one, and we have a journalist in our group as well, so it's something that we have been talking about. But that's a good one, maybe to pressure them also into it. I will make a note of it. Yeah, and maybe we can. Yeah.
We have Peter street team in Düsseldorf, and since Peter is like the most famous name even to non-vegans, we had the Peter street team reach out to all the restaurants, because I have a Proton email which could be in the spam folder. Peter reached out to restaurants, and 2 restaurants have dropped it before we had to protest, and even the local newspaper reported about it. And yeah, for the other restaurants, we had to come up with tactics, but we can talk about that in a minute, how we should start.
Let's do that, because I have the same experience that just writing them helps, or like tagging them on Instagram helps a lot. Like, we have only been in front of 4, 5, 6 restaurants of the 11 that dropped it only then.
Okay, so 6 out of 11 in Rotterdam, and the other 5 you didn't have to protest, so because they already. So Near Rosenfeld is joining. Just for you guys, Near Rosenfeld is a restaurant owner in Frankfurt. He has 5 vegan restaurants, and in one of those restaurants, he sells a vegan alternative to foie gras.
Nice.
So it would be really interesting for Frankfurt when we start campaigning. Maybe this guy, Near Rosenfeld, can provide this plant-based, cruelty-free, vegan alternative of foie gras to the restaurants. And the last time I checked, we have in Frankfurt 12 to 13 restaurants, because Frankfurt is very like here up there with all the rich people. Yeah, gras, I know, bankers and everything. And yeah, it's quite a long time ago that I checked, but I guess it's still the same, 10 to 13 restaurants. So Christoph, 9 restaurants, Düsseldorf, Priya, 11 in Rotterdam. And when we were here at the topic of celebrating, they are not joining at the moment, but we can say Karlsruhe, that city in the southwest of Germany.
5.
Oh, I thought 4. Okay.
I heard 5.
Okay, 5. It's also now foie gras free.
Yeah.
And I guess
Amazing.
this is something like such a domino effect.
Yeah.
And yeah, all people that are joining, please share the live stream, and maybe more people can join in Germany, Netherlands, France, whatever. Because later in this live, we want to get, especially you experienced people, want to give people information at hand how to get started and
Yeah.
what to do for campaigns and yeah, how to win and yeah.
In the Netherlands, already 2 cities are foie gras free, which are Soest and Zeist. There are some smaller municipalities, but they're foie gras free as well. And now we're working on Eindhoven. We're gonna start Den Haag soon. We're gonna go back to Rotterdam again. So we're like still busy with the pressure campaigning for the foie gras in the bigger cities as well. And we're also we have people researching other cities like Nijmegen and Arnhem, Apeldoorn. So we're trying to find the people that are in those areas to help us with the research and obviously help us with the protests.
Yeah.
So shall we
And
talk about?
Yeah, there's Berlin against foie gras, or now they're called Berlin against animal abuse. I had calls with her, and she is taking a break right now, but she beat like also like 5 or 6 restaurants also. It works.
Nice.
It just works.
Yeah.
If there's foie gras in your city, it's only the question: will you, as an activist, will you continue to tolerate it, or will you stand up against it? That's the only question.
But one question, I know we want to get to Q&A later, but the question is here, how do we share the live? So at the bottom right of the on your phone, you have the share button, and then just think about your contacts, and you can not share in your story, I guess, but you can share the link of this live hangout to any people that you might think they might be interested in starting this campaign against foie gras for whatever.
Yeah, nice.
By the way, I made a folder. I formed my own coalition against foie gras. I'm a little proud of myself. So far, it's only a signal group consisting of 6 people. I would like to offer you 2 to join, of course. Coalition against foie gras. And I made a folder with all that Toni hopefully will read someday. Like how to get started, some tips how to get started, but I can report that in a minute. Post photos for posters, like my experiences, and emails, like first a polite email with the foie gras footage, and then the second email is a little more precise, that we will start protests if you don't remove it, maybe at a certain date. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah.
Anything printed out, Priya or Christoph, that we can like show on the camera? What do we hold there for science? Or like maybe we could also explain the chronologically, if you have a target, steps A to B.
And, you want to start, Priya, and then I can jump in?
Yeah, I think it's nice if we both share the steps, because they might differ, because we worked together with Active for Justice, an organization in the Netherlands that has already made Utrecht foie gras free a couple of years ago. And they also did this protest inside of a restaurant, and like they made the whole of Utrecht foie gras free. So we were kind of like inspired by their approach. We also did the emailing from their accounts, and just to make sure that we have a little bit of a basis, like, to like show people that we're serious. It's not just, just some people. We are really dedicated to this. What we do is first we do the researches to find the menus, the different restaurants in the city that has foie gras on the menu. Then it's important to notice, like at least in the Netherlands, there's a difference between foie gras and geese or duck liver. That's also sometimes on the menu because duck or geese liver is not necessarily foie gras. So you really need to research this. I think it's best to call the restaurant and just pretend that you're like a customer that wants to go there and just, being interested, or emailing them. But you really need to make sure because if it says foie gras on the menu, it's sometimes they use the term, but actually it's not. They cannot because it's a legal term from France that it can only be called foie gras if it involves the force feeding. So it's really good to research that. And then when you have all the targets, you send them an email. We have an email within there, the information about what happens to the animals, and then asking them to drop it. And that we really look forward to hearing from them. I think it's nice to do this two-phase emailing, Christoph, because I feel it's nice to just first start off, politely and, like not too intimidating.
Yeah, not to burn any bridges before.
Sorry?
Not to burn any bridges. Maybe he will continue to be polite to you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then after maybe do like a little stronger one. So if we don't hear anything back from them, we plan the protest and we always notify the municipality or the city that we protest in. It's not necessary in the Netherlands. You can protest wherever you want, whenever you want. But we do it just to make sure that we have police assistance if necessary. And then the municipality also informs the restaurants that we're coming. So that's already one type of pressure there, because then they know, okay, so we have we got emails from restaurants themselves asking if we were coming. And then we could have a conversation with them about it, like, why, and if they wanted to drop it, and if they won't drop it, then we would come, or otherwise we won't. But if they don't reply, what we have been doing up last months is also pressuring them through Instagram. So by tagging them, showing them tagging them in the footage that we made of protests before. So we have I think it's very important to make footage of every protest that you do, so people get an image of what it looks like. So on my profile, you can find a video recap from one of the demonstrations, and on other activist accounts you can also find some. And then I have also a highlight on my profile with foie gras on it, and I share a little bit about the protest there as well, because I share more in my stories than on my profile. And then when we go there, we first start off, it depends, but usually we have the screens, we have the megaphones, and we have flyers, and we made a big banner. So it's quite clear what we come to do. So we introduce ourselves, and then we, let them know that we are here because we want them to drop foie gras. And if they do, we will be gone and they will not hear anything from us, So and then sometimes they send us an email afterwards. Sometimes they come to talk to us, while we are protesting. And if that's not enough, we go back again. And we also sometimes send them an extra email like, hey, we were in front of your restaurant. We really want you to drop it, But up until now, we didn't have to escalate any further. But I am related to people that were involved in the share campaign, and they gave me great tips and advices about more tactics, making a reservation for a lot of people and then not coming, or on a Saturday evening, or go with a group of people inside of the restaurant and then, looking at the menu oh my God, they serve foie gras, and then walk out while every customer can hear this. So, these are all ways to protest, and
Rebellion did at McDonald's in London. Yeah. they also occupied a whole McDonald's and didn't order anything. They had their own plant-based food, and like maybe we could do that with Niels gras.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, but up until now, we didn't have to escalate any further. So actually, it's quite nice that we had some restaurant owners that we literally had conversations with about why they were selling it, and like very personal conversations. And yeah, so we didn't have to scale. We didn't have to go to any employee, or I think the most the time, I think 3 times is the most that we were in front of one restaurant. So it's but I must say that this restaurant is the one that's still serving it. So, I think they just said like, okay, we're removing it from the menu just to be, done with us, but they're obviously not done with us. So yeah. Maybe Christoph, you want to share your escalation letter?
Yes, we also researched before, and I tried to start with easier restaurants, so no French ones, no brasserie, no old-fashioned traditional ones, rather new restaurants or those who might have financial difficulties. I know it's bad, it's very mean, but it works. They don't like additional pressure. And then we just take one restaurant at a time. We don't take 5 at a time. And we usually start with an online comment storm on Instagram, Facebook, and email on one day. So on one day, they receive 20, 30 comments regarding foie gras until they block commenting or whatever. Then on like 2 days later, on a Friday evening, we, like you said, it's one option to book tables and not go there, and at the same time call all like phone calls involving foie gras, because this saves you energy. Nobody has to go out of the house to do that. It's very easy. And then as a third step, you would have to go there as the first protest. And the protest, like 1 hour would be good enough, is the most powerful weapon, of course. If it doesn't work, you can go back the next week or in 2 weeks. Maybe in between, you can do other tactics. You can be so creative. You can do whatever you want. You can do graffitis like chalking in front of the restaurant. You can hang up posters like picture of the owner and the name of the restaurant, wanted for animal abuse, for duck abuse, and you give some facts about force feeding. Hang it up in the area of the restaurant or where the person lives. You can do, and that's a very mean topic, I know, like online ratings, which you should of course remove once the campaign is over. You should do a phone action on a Saturday evening, for example, and then just protest.
Yeah.
The most we ever had to come was also twice, I think. Yeah. And disruption being another thing that I would do if like 3 or 4 protests weren't enough, maybe on a Saturday evening with a lot of tourists. Why don't you just go in? Like you just said, like a soft disruption, sit down and start a conversation about foie gras, get louder. On the way out, you can chant a little bit. Then you haven't broken any law. This is not trespassing, because they will ask you to leave and you have to leave, and you just go out. But you can chant a little bit, of course. So this soft disruption, or rush in with megaphones, of course, for 30 seconds and then walk away in different directions. It's all pressure. It all works.
Yeah.
Okay. Priya, what's your experience on disrupting, like going inside the restaurant?
Well, we haven't done that, and I'm not sure about the legal consequences of this. Like I saw this video of an amazing pressure campaigning on leather in America last week with someone chalking on a restaurant that was arrested. I'm not sure if this person was arrested for the chalking, but I feel it's the best and the most sustainable thing to keep it, legal, like between a legal framework. So I'm not sure. Like I think a sit-in in a restaurant is illegal, but as maybe exactly what you said, like if they say you have to go and you go, then it's not illegal. But I haven't researched this because we didn't have to come this far. Now, like the pressure that we do now is obviously enough to because we also leave Google reviews and we also remove them when they drop it. So up until now, it hasn't been necessary to do stuff like this.
Mm.
Yeah, but you're right. Most activists feel safe, and that's understandable if you play it safe. Of course, any protest is legal, and if that's enough, I would totally stick to the rules.
Yeah,
Because if a campaign lasts longer, and you could burn out, like taking unnecessary risks and facing consequences, and people will stop being active. That's not what we want. Exactly.
exactly. And I don't think it's necessary either. But maybe it also it also depends on, which country you are, which culture you have. But I saw this question of someone who asked, like, would a political petition, like change import laws, show same or similar results? And I feel like an argument a lot of the restaurant owners use is that it's legal to use it, and as long as it's legal, they will do it. So yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like it would help, to change laws, but I also feel like as long as we are not dependent on the law, I think it's good to keep it legal, but to play between the rules. Like
Yeah.
it's like play with the rules actually, and
And
yeah,
laws take time, right? There was this decision by the
yeah,
European Council about fur farming, making fur farms or even import of fur illegal for all of Europe. It was turned down because they said we didn't see enough evidence of animal cruelty on fur farms. And the decision has been postponed until in 5 years. We have to take things in our hands.
exactly,
I
exactly.
mean, foie
That's
gras, even the consumption of foie gras is illegal in the state of California, like fur, selling of fur. But that's an exception for all the other states or cities. That's also one good approach. Yeah, good question. If you want to go in that direction, please go for it. I'm no expert in that topic. I I focus on pressure campaigns because that also
yeah.
works. Yeah,
Yeah.
and might go quicker. Yeah, but we have to take steps. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
step by
I
step.
I think there are more ways to that lead up to the same goal, and I
Yeah,
think we need all of
yeah,
it. So exactly, if you have the position or the power to change it, then please do so. In the meantime, it's also important that we take the take the take the control in our own hands and start from the roots.
yeah.
Because California, especially Berkeley and as San Francisco, is like on another level. They are a little bit more progressive and advanced, like in comparison to uh, one or the other region in Europe. So before the first protest, you really have the experience like emailing works better than phoning than calling.
Well, the last restaurant I walked in with a letter as the very first time, and I will keep doing that. I handed over a letter to one of the waiters. Usually before I was writing one polite email, I never got a response. You will be ignored every time. And then like 1 week later, I wrote a more precise email and I never got an answer. And then I called. Sometimes I had to call 8, 9 times until I had the decision maker on the phone, and I didn't reach any agreement at first. It would be an option, of course, also to walk in with your laptop, show videos of force feeding, and talk very peacefully. Um, but at some point, they have to know if they don't remove it, you will start protesting, and they don't want that. And we don't want it, but we will do it.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we've been talking about like the escalation ladder, but maybe we can identify some of the success factors, like some points that maybe you, Christoph, also experienced in the protesting that really works.
Well, shaming them as an animal abuser, being very like loud with a megaphone and just informing, just educating people. Of course, that is pure pressure.
Mm.
While guests are inside, they prefer a peaceful evening, of course. And then we just go wild with a megaphone, chanting, "There's no excuse for animal abuse," and the four-crime murder trade, torture trade. You can chalk walk of fame or whatever, fake blood. It's shaming. Yeah, and that works. That's like the most powerful weapon that we have.
Mm. Yeah, Yeah. I have some success factors. I've been thinking about this because I've been thinking about what have worked in Rotterdam, you know, like why did we make like a progress in such a short time? And I think it also has to do with some organizational like factors, like, you know, making good agreements about who does, you know, which task. Like some people email, some people call, you know, some people organize the demos, some do the communication on social media, some do the tagging, some do reviews, some do, you know, like the communication with the police. You know, like we have like so many people, different like kind of people involved in our groups with all their own like qualities and like things they have, you know, they're very good at. Like when I'm doing pressure campaigning, I'm not rational. Like I cannot have a like proper conversation, polite conversation with someone, you know. So I'm not the one that should be talking to the police, you know. But there are people that are handling the police in a very nice way, you know, that we get like an work like a collaboration instead of you know, them being, you know, triggered or, you know, annoyed by us. So I think it's good to use all the qualities that you have in a group of activists, like really identify like what is your quality, what's not your quality, you know, what should you do, what shouldn't you do. And what I feel is also a super, super important factor in our group is next to the dedication that people have, like ending this and really being, you know, determined, is the fun that we have together. So we have a lot of fun together. We laugh a lot, also at the demos. So sometimes we need to be like, okay, we're here for a serious cause, you know. But sometimes the things people say through the megaphone are hilarious sometimes. And also the emails that we, sorry?
Also, I guess socializing afterwards, going to a vegan restaurant, and
Yeah, we did that in the beginning, and now we have a gathering planned on the 1st of December to celebrate with the potluck, and you know, like deciding to like having a fun evening and deciding the strategy. But also, like the emails that we get from some restaurant owners are also very hilarious. So sometimes we share that in the groups, and then
one
yeah,
ex-
we sorry.
one example.
Uh, well, there's one guy who who was like asking about if we ate avocados and also about if we were like knitting our own sweaters because H&M is selling stuff from I don't know where, and we were like, but because this, you know, this kind of thing also makes it a little bit more personal, you know. So we are like super hyped to go there, you know, which was a French restaurant, by the way. So um yeah, it kinds of like brings the fun and the, you know, the fire, you know, like, so that's something that we I think it's also very important to have fun together. And also because we are with so many different people with different approaches, different perspectives. Some people like to play it rough, some people like to play it like more strategic and like more diplomatic, you know. We really try to listen to everyone's perspective and learn from each other as well, you know, because there's not one way to, you know, come at this goal that we want to go to. So sometimes we need to be polite to the police, and people that can be, you know, are able to do that, they can do that. And sometimes we need to say like, no, now we're gonna go stand in front of this restaurant, and you know, like we need people like this too. So I think it's good to also inside of the group create a safe environment where people can really share their perspectives and be heard, and also, you know, like vote together which perspective should be chosen, and then, you know, standing behind it with the whole group, you know. And we are now gonna like talk about a serious strategy on how we're gonna go about this, because up until now there has been a little bit of um yeah, like strategy, but it hasn't been like fully precise, you know. And like detailed. So now we really want to make like a very detailed strategy that we want to use, and also for before the protesting, but also after protesting, because it's also important to make sure that it's not on the menu anymore and it stays off the menu. So you need to stay and keep checking the menu and yeah, and research. So like what we did last week is like calling the restaurants and really verify if they really removed it from the menu. So it's something that should also be involved in the strategy.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, like it's important. Like everyone has their own task, but we should work together as a group and
Yeah.
like having the safe space and all things like that. And what you told of vegan restaurants owner, not vegan restaurant owners, and then they come up with bullshit arguments and derailing and whataboutism. And it also happened to Karlsruhe when he said, "Oh, we have so many different important other topics now, like the war in Ukraine. What does this has to do with your menu? We can still be concerned with wars and pandemics, which are caused by animal suffering, and so many other things. World hunger, animal exploitation, yeah, and still, yeah. So one question also to how many activists should be there in front of a restaurant? Does it depend on what kind of restaurant it is, or would you go like 10 to 15 people, or would it like be an option to or a good idea to increase the amount of people from time to time? What about that?
How many do you have, Priya?
It was different every time. It depended on the day, because sometimes we would go on Friday, sometimes on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, but also the availability. I feel we were like communicating and deciding on the demos, like the dates for the demos, like maybe 2 weeks in advance. And like sometimes people don't have time in 2 weeks in advance, like they have planned like more weeks after. So it depends on who is available. But we were in front of one restaurant with 5 people one day, and we just made sure that we made a lot of noise. So we were making noise for 10 people, and it should be inconvenient. That's the thing. It doesn't matter, I think, a lot if it's 5 people or 10 people. I mean, I think it's more impressive the more people are there, the more the more impact it has. But um you like, we had the screens, we had megaphone, we had like whistles, so a lot of things to make the noise. So yeah, I think it's just, as the more the better, I feel. But if it's not possible, don't let it be an obstruction to go, like, unless you feel not unless you feel unsafe, and because you need to be in this energy of confidence and like demanding that they get it off the menu now. That's the energy that you want to be in. Honestly, Christoph, I saw this video of the Düsseldorf demonstration, and I really felt that energy. It was super, like, ongoing, and like it was very strong. So definitely check out a video of Christopher, because it has a good energy, and that's the energy
Okay,
that you want to be in.
please send it forward it to me, or I can find it on your Instagram, right, Christoph?
Yeah, I can send you one or two good ones, yeah. But we always have a good energy. And the last one, there were like 2 or 3 activists who took the megaphone for the very first time, and they all did amazing. They had a great voice. The question of the number of activists, actually, like you said, Priya, attitude. It's only about attitude. I've seen videos of people doing solo disruptions, having the megaphone in one hand and camera on the other hand. I haven't done that. So 2, 3 people can leave an amazing impact, and maybe 10 people with less energy couldn't leave that impact.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of attitude, like Donny Moss says in New York. When you allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone, then change will happen. But you have to allow yourself. You might have to get used to it. I had to get used to the megaphone at first. Now I love it. And let's say you have 25 activists and do one protest with a certain level of energy. It would be much more effective to do a protest with 5 people, but 5 times. 5 different protests, 5 people each. You will increase the pressure. You will come back again and again and again until they drop. So it's not a matter of how many you are. Just Yeah, just the atmosphere. I agree. We also like to have fun. We like to be loud. And hey, chainsaw. And yeah, I learned amazing home demos at Chainsaw Boston in
Mhm.
Boston this summer. Yes, it's only a matter of attitude. You just have to allow yourself to kick ass. Then it
Yeah.
works.
Okay. And before the first action protest, how long to brief the activists, especially people that are new to pressure campaigns, direct action, disruptions, or activists that have only done outreach on cubes and things like that? What do you think? What's your experience?
Well, of course, you need at least one or two people being comfortable on a megaphone, and that should be enough. The others should know what to chant. So in my briefings, I don't want to talk for 10 minutes. I introduce the campaign a little bit for 2-3 minutes, and then I go over the chants. So everybody feels comfortable chanting, and different roles, like people could hold posters, point at the posters, point at the restaurant, walk around, just show energy and passion. And depending on the personality, people will also feel comfortable. They want to take on different roles at the protests and at home. Like you said, Priya, you gave very good examples. What else needs to be done? No? And anybody could get involved. Like even if somebody's totally introverted and shy, only stays at home doing research, taking care of equipment, or social media is also priceless. We need that person, of course. I've seen one of my protests, we had an old lady. She was at least 90, I think 93. She came to my protest. She had to take breaks and sit down, but then she came back
Mm.
holding the signs. That was amazing. In
Mm.
LA, I've seen a person in a wheelchair, almost never missing one protest. That person would have all the excuses not to come on the streets, but I've seen a person in a wheelchair on many protests. Anybody can do it.
That's
Yeah,
Seriously, anybody.
very cool.
exactly. And also what we included in the briefing was also some questions about safety. So, what will happen if someone will like get angry, or how we go about that, and who will be spokesperson for the police and everything. And up until now, we had good experiences with the police. So when someone from the restaurant, like a customer, anyone would become angry, they would like come in between. So nothing escalated. The last time that I did, one of the last times that at a demo, the police wasn't informed about demonstration rights, so they wanted to cut off the demonstration. So I really had to explain to them that only the mayor can like abort the demonstration and not the police. But he didn't want to believe me, so I had like a hassle with him, and it was not nice because we were already with only 5 people, and we wanted to really make the impact, and he was like interrupting us the whole time. So also be really aware of your rights as like during a demonstration, that no one, at least in the Netherlands, can break down the demonstration without having a valid reason. And the only one that can decide is the mayor. So in the Netherlands. So it's good to be informed about this, and also share this with people in the group if you want to. But I think if only the person that's the spokesperson for the police knows, then that's enough. But that's something to be informed about in front of before the demonstration as well.
Yeah, safety would be also my last question on,
Yeah.
or like, if you guys have what was like the most negative or difficult and threatening and exhausting experiences that you had in Düsseldorf and Rotterdam. Yeah.
Well, for Düsseldorf, I think you know best. You had been chased by a person, one older guy running out of the restaurant, feeling attacked, chasing you on the
Yeah,
camera.
because I was filming inside, so maybe this is like a thing you should avoid. Like we
I
was
mean, we can. That's a good point. We can film every time. It's a legal protest. We even have a permit,
yeah.
and that's one recommendation I can give you. Film all of it, because sometimes they make up stupid accusations. We threatened them. We insulted them. If you have the whole thing on video, you're safe, because we would never assault or threaten anybody, unless calling them animal abuse, of course. But we would never call them names or even physically violence. If something escalates to that point, you you always need a proof on video. So that's a good thing. So that one pretty wild, that protest, Brasserie Hülsmann and Stadthaus. Yeah. One restaurant we had in Cologne, I can also send you that video, that's a good one. She appeared to be the neighbor or the a guest who shows up like every week. And she felt personally attacked because we targeted the restaurant, and she went in the middle. And there was also a little physical altercation between her and one activist. So I had to go in the middle, and I took the megaphone and yelled at her, "Would you please leave the scene now? We have a permit. Otherwise, we will call the police on you." And she got mad at me. But I love that. If people get mad, pedestrians or even the owner, I like that, because we have to keep our peace. We have to we shouldn't escalate that much, and we need to create that chaos because they don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's also really good, not only for that, for when we call the police for safety precautions, but also when I was at your protest in Düsseldorf, Christoph, they blocked like one way of the one lane of the street, enough room for us to demonstrate and protest.
I was in Brooklyn in summer when we did home demos in the Marc Jacobs campaign. We have been in front of Jennifer Sagan's home, the vice president of Marc Jacobs, and police came. We didn't announce it, of course. We didn't have to. And police came with 3-4 cars, and it blocked the whole street. And we were 30 people on the street. Whose street? Our street.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Nice.
What was the most negative things there? Like,
yeah, for me personally, it was this policeman that was interrupting our and like threatening us, like we're your guys are too loud, and the neighbors are like you know, they have the noise, and that's I'm gonna break it down and everything. And I really needed to like do some calls with some more experienced activists, you know, in the legal, about the legal matters. And then I found out it's just like the mayor that can only you know, like cancel the demonstration. But it was quite annoying because we were with like only 5 people, because a lot of people couldn't come anymore. So that was a big strain for myself personally, that we were interrupted the whole time and that he was pressuring us. So I think it's very good to know upfront what your rights are. And we had some people that were like mad, like customers that coming up to us, but one wanted to become like physical towards one activist, but this activist, he just stood like with his megaphone, just as if he didn't hear this guy, and just continued with his, you know, like thing. And then the police came, so nothing happened.
like,
And also,
and I don't speak your language. What?
yeah, I don't speak animal exploitation. I can't hear you. And like another strategy of one of the activists is to actually talk through the megaphone to these people. Like, are you aware of what you're arguing against? You know, like, are you, do you know what you're protecting? Like, are you serious? You know? And yeah, so she makes it like kind of like not personal towards that person, like, but like she like she directs her like language towards that person, you know, so it gets like personal in a way, but it's not like personal, she's not insulting anybody, but like, so that's a great way to deal with that as well. But we didn't really have like very like dangerous or unsafe situations apart from like this. Yeah.
Good.
Guys, I think looking at the time that we maybe should go into Q&A,
Right.
or maybe there are some last things that you guys want to share that you
Well,
forgot maybe.
a few years ago, Instagram live streams were only possible up to 1 hour. I think now it's 2, but it's Friday evening. Many people want to go into the weekend, prepare for demonstrations, or having like a weekend off, like myself. I'm going to a spa tomorrow.
Nice,
It's also
nice.
really
Self-care, it's
important.
important.
Yeah. Only one last
Yeah.
question. As for loudness, this is like a topic in Germany. So I guess, especially in smaller towns, not big cities, when we announce a protest, we would like look for not scheduling it on a Sunday, because in Germany we have some things like Sonntagsruhe, you know, where people go to church and you have to be quiet, and no supermarkets are open. Yeah, this is a very German thing. Yeah.
Animal abusers never take a break, so we don't.
Exactly. No, but that's a good one. Yeah, I think it's good to be informed about your local, you know, like rules and regulations and cultures, and adjust your approach to that for sure. Yeah. So maybe we can talk about how to start how to start off, Christoph. But in the meantime, I want to ask people if they have any questions for us. Then please write them down so we can answer them after talking about how to start a movement like this. Christoph, do you want to say something about this?
Yeah. You mean when somebody start for crowd protests in their city? Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. You can always reach out to me. I have one folder with like a starter kit. You should do research, a little research on the force feeding. You don't have to become an expert. You just have to know what's going on in the force feeding and why it's terribly, consideredly, even scientifically proven animal abuse. And then do research like Tony did in Frankfurt, and you found a certain number of restaurants, and then you make an order. You shouldn't start with the like old traditional French restaurants because they regard it as their heritage. This would be, I would do them last. You start with one restaurant, and you just need 2, 3, 4 other activists. Like I said, it's all about attitude. The more the better, but 2, 3, 4 would be good enough. I would recommend involving megaphones and noise because your target doesn't like that. Then you should start an email, like polite email, maybe followed by another email or letter. Then you could even walk in, talk to the restaurant, or call them. I always called them. And then, yes, you have a megaphone. And then it's time to show up. And then it's time to show that you don't mess around. It's time they feel the heat, but because otherwise they won't listen. That's my experience. Then after the first protest, things might already change. They might remove it. Or before the first protest, like I said, we've done online comment storms, phone actions, and then one protest. And then it's basically up to you. You can make your own rules. You can do a phone action in between. You can do the second protest. You can do graffitis. You can hang up these wanted for dog abuse signs. Yeah, that's about do it. If any questions,
Yeah. I have a little I don't think I agree on the order of the restaurants. Like I wouldn't personally wouldn't like to limit myself in which restaurant we target because we started with 2 French traditional restaurants, and they both like the one we involved in half of the protest because we discovered that they were serving foie gras during the demonstration at another one that was around the corner. So we kind of combined them in the moment. And they like the second one, so the one that we included in the first demonstration, they dropped it like immediately. So I don't think we should limit ourselves with like which restaurant we should choose. I think choose from your, what's also practical, because we also made like this little map of which restaurants were close to each other, and then we would combine those. So just for practical reasons. So I would say just try out what works for you. Maybe Christoph, you have other experience with this, but this is my experience with French restaurants. And don't limit yourself. Just use the same energy everywhere. You're determined to remove it from the menu, and that's it. And you will manage.
yes. There's no
That would be my
solution. You never know how long they will take. Like we don't know with the fur campaigns. Sometimes it takes a huge global trend-setting company takes 9 days, like we have seen this year. And if somebody becomes stubborn, it might take a long time. There's one restaurant in Bremen, Chapeau la Vache. They've been there for years. They go there for years. Me personally, I would stop doing it, and I would have to agree that I cannot beat that restaurant. I would move away to a different target. You never know before. Once it becomes an ego thing, it's only about showing who's stronger, who has the most endurance. This will become exhausting for activists also. Yeah, but it only totally depends on you.
Yeah, because we want to see victories, right?
Yeah. Activists need victories.
Yeah.
I've seen many people drop out. Yeah. How
Yeah,
activists
for sure.
try to pass city.
Yeah, sorry, I cannot see any questions, so maybe you guys can,
Yeah.
because
Chainsaw Boston, how would activists try to pass citywide foie gras bans in legislation after successful pressure campaigns? Do you know? I'm no expert in legislation.
It would be helpful to have contact as well to lawyers. It could be like lawyers who have a general knowledge, but also lawyers who have like a knowledge in Tierschutzrecht, animal welfare and rights, yeah, and also know some politicians, like politicians on a city basis, on a regional basis, and then you can also have this thing like called Bundestagspetitionen. There's like petitions which need to be directed to the the parliament, because there are so many petition sites like e-petition site or change.org. Okay, this is a little bit better, or care to petitions. After the first year, 1 or 2 years after I went vegan, I thought, oh, street activism, what's that? They are so brutal, and it's like G20, they're all rioters and setting fire. I had no clue. I had no idea. Yeah. And 2 years, long years, I was only writing petitions, but yeah, many petition sites are crap. Yeah, it's not. You need a petition site that's really directed at the authorities that can really do changes, like petitions at the Bundestag or for other countries. Look which petition sites are really connected to the government, to the municipalities and things like that. And then combine the law side and the politics side to hopefully get new laws. Yes.
And in Netherlands, we have the Party for the Animals, Partij voor de Dieren, that you can also write, and they also are active for foie gras. So we really we also have people in the group that are active in the party. So are there any other questions?
I cannot see any.
Is there anyone in the chat of those, 7 people now, who want to start, especially, I'm not quite sure if all those 7 people have joined us from the beginning, but we will make sure to save this video in our respective social media accounts, and maybe also on YouTube, Facebook, everything. And then people can ask questions afterwards and come to Christoph regarding the starter kits, how to get started in your city and what needs to be done. And I guess you guys have shared so much knowledge and information in this live. So if you are in any city like Berlin, Hamburg, Bremen, Cologne, Kassel, Hanover, Munich, or whatever, and you want to start pressure campaigns against foie gras, against fur, or other animal abusing industries, fur and entertainment, no? Zoos and circuses and sea worlds and horse racing. There's so many things.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. And also I would like to add at last is that we should also connect to each other, like internationally. We have a lot of knowledge in this community that we are in, and I think it's important to really see each other. So come to animal liberation gatherings, or maybe let's organize more of these. Christoph and Toni, we also talked about, coming to Germany and coming to the Netherlands just to learn from each other as well. We will have a weekend event in December where we're going to do a whole weekend in The Hague to do foie gras protest in the city center. We also have possibilities to stay over. So let's be active, let's be effective, but also let's have fun, because it's important to, you know, keep this community alive and passionate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
change the button. Just America has something similar called convergences, or like the Animal Liberation Conference in Berkeley. We have in Europe the Animal Rights Conference in Esch-sur-Alzette in Luxembourg, or the Vegan Campout in UK. There's so many things, and in Austria too. And yeah, as for December, Christoph, maybe you are able to join, but yeah, on the 13th of December, I will leave Europe for 4 weeks. I am going to South America for vacation, and also maybe a little bit of activism. I don't know. South America is a little bit different and difficult. Let's see. But yeah, I really want to get this started in the Rhine-Main area, Frankfurt, for next year, because I think the geese and ducks are bred and born into existence like in spring and summer, or yeah, for different topics, as for St. Martin's guns or Christmas goose and duck, and also foie gras. And maybe in the spring and summertime we could also do like research. Where do you get your sources? Maybe it has something fishy and illegal, not only morally but illegal going on. And yeah, then next fall and winter 2025, starting the mega pressure in Frankfurt and Rhine-Main area.
Nice.
Yes.
And maybe you could come to visit our first protest.
That would be great. Yeah.
I've been on against Mark Jacobs. That's from AAM, or now they are AAC, Animal Activism Collective. They just had one in Austin, Texas, like 11 days, only targeting foie gras. And in New York, we only targeted Mark Jacobs for 8 days.
Nice.
So there's like at least 40 activists coming in, and a plan has been laid out, and we had 2 to 3 actions every day. That's huge. I would love to come to Den Haag, but on that weekend I will protest Lower Piana, like on every Saturday, because these are important shopping days before Christmas. But I will definitely come next year, I swear, January, February.
Yeah.
And everybody's invited to Düsseldorf. You can also sleep on my couch. And I will definitely come. Eindhoven is only 1 hour away. Or why don't we arrange some, not a huge convergence. I'm planning a convergence in Paris, 6 days in Paris against fur. But why don't we plan something similar against foie gras, 2, 3 action days, whatever, in Frankfurt or wherever you guys want to.
Yeah.
That's definitely,
That
you're
would
right.
be
We
great.
need to be connected.
Yeah,
we need to exchange each other and like organize more. So more people get involved in this kind of activism.
Yeah, or let's go to Düsseldorf one day, or like North Rhine-Westphalia, like Cologne, Dortmund, Essen, whatever, because I guess it's like in the middle of us. For me, it takes like up to 1.5 or 2.5 hours from me to that area, and I guess from Rotterdam it's similar.
Yeah, we'll be moving towards Nijmegen soon, so I will be close to Germany then. But yeah, no, I think Christoph, you have the group, so definitely add us, and let's find more people that want to be in the group as well. I think maybe it's nice to list some of the accounts that people can see how the protests go in this caption that we will write for this video, so people have some resources, and also maybe link a link towards your folder of the how to get started file.
Yes. There's one question. Can you list all the days and locations somewhere? I haven't planned anything yet except for Loro Piana fur protests in Düsseldorf. You had one in Den Haag, December 20 to 22nd, right?
Yeah, 2021. Because 22 there's a peace service for the animals, so we want to go there. So 2021 we will planning one in Eindhoven as well, and we will start planning the one in Rotterdam again soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and as for the locations in Frankfurt, I will do a research again for like Frankfurt, Wiesbaden, Mainz, Darmstadt, like Rhine-Main area. And I will create, well, you have the opportunity to have like a map on Google Maps, and then you can put pins there. And then you can see also what you suggested, Priya, like have for one day protests at 2 or 3 different locations that are nearby and close to each other. And then we will have to sort it out. And then in that group, which will form in the Rhine-Main area, I will pin this. And then like also in each pin restaurant, okay, what have we accomplished so far? Is it still ongoing? And like red, yellow, and red, amber, green. You know, like what do we still have left? Like such a management thing.
Yeah, it's important to track everything. So and that so that and everyone has insight in it. So you know, it's transparent and people know where we are. And I feel our group chat is very very important to exchange stuff. And if you want to be if you want to learn about the protests in the Netherlands, you can also follow the Active for Justice Instagram, in which they communicate every demonstration. All right, guys.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
We're nearing 1.5 hours. So, are there any questions left? The 9 people who are watching. Habt ihr noch irgendwelche Fragen, auch an die deutschsprachigen Menschen, die gerade zuschauen? Könnt ihr gerne die Fragen stellen. And then maybe, last but not least, in Dutch. Do you have any questions left? Yeah? Because I said people can ask questions in 3 languages.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think people in the Netherlands can talk English well. Yeah. Yeah. Let's give it like a couple more minutes because I feel my energy is going down. So I really love to wrap it up.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to have dinner too, like because a few hours ago I was at the protest against animal testing, and yeah, it's now what? Oh, 10 p.m.
Oh my God. Yeah, if not, just reach out to me and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, you can always ask questions in the comments. This video will be saved.
Yeah.
So you can always look back. You can always ask the questions in the comments. You can also approach us in DMs if you feel more comfortable doing that. We will like help you out, and like we want to make sure that this movement is a movement that grows and creates more momentum over time, so we can extend it to also other topics where animals are abused and exploited. So Toni, Christoph, thank you so much for your time. It's amazing to be in this community with people like you, so dedicated and strong voices for the animals. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
you
everyone
too,
watching, thank you. And we will see each other soon.
Yes.
In the protest.
See you on the street. Have a good
Yeah,
evening.
see you in the street.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
In our
Ciao.
generation. Bye.
Bye. Nice weekend.